Hey everybody, let's talk about the top 4 crypto to buy right now at not all-time lows, but honestly almost 50 to 60%. Some of these are even 70% from all-time highs. And we'll talk about why these cheap cryptos might be a great idea to start adding to right now. Again, let's log into OxRank over here and head on over to our portfolios and our Ox AI data. So once we are in here, let's take a look at something here. Bitcoin at around $66,000 right now is down 47% from all-time highs. Ethereum down 58% from all-time highs. The worst one of the top 4 is Solana, down 72% from all-time highs. And then Ripple is down 61%. Again, this lower part over here is from the video yesterday. Again, if you're interested, you can see these portfolios. You can see the split up, buy sell alerts. You can see my own portfolios, including tracking my 10K to 100K portfolio, all inside of OxRank.com. Just go to OxRank.com and sign up. Now let's move on over here and take a look at what's going on. So I actually want to break down every one of these so you have a true understanding of what's going on and why you should really kind of hold off on massively buying right now. Again, there should be a strategy to everything you do. Now, let's go over here. Again, we're now inside of OxRank. Once you log in, you'll see these 4 assets always change to something. So right now it's telling you what are the 4 best purchases at the moment, right? This is the last few days of March. It's Amazon, Nvidia, Meta, which is Facebook, and Solana crypto. Again, so it analyzes over 5,000 different stocks, ETFs, mutual funds, and over 15,000 different cryptocurrencies to come up with this data. The fear and greed index shows us at around 24, so we're almost at extreme fear. And the stock market's fear and greed index shows us at 10. I mean, it is absolutely, absolutely scared. And the Buffett indicator, this tells you that we're still significantly overvalued. And again, the Ox meter right now says you should be focusing on nibbling some of these cryptos. And again, obviously something like Meta is an absolute steal. This news over here on the right side is tailored to your investment, what you like. So if you click on portfolios and you add your portfolios here, for the stock market, you add your cryptos over here, and it literally scans your portfolios and then tailors it to you. You can create a watch list over here. What's very important for you to is utilize the earnings calendar over here and kind of go through those earnings reports. So when you see a company, whatever it is, let's just go to ACE. It will break down all of that for you. You could be able to watch it to your portfolio or add it to your watch list. You can go back 5 years. And once you understand what is going on with the stock markets, you will then truly understand what's going on with the economy and the crypto markets. They all go hand in hand. Top 100 crypto macro dashboard. Again, if you're brand new to investing, you're trying to understand why these indices and this macro dashboard matters, you can click on the indicator details over here and it'll tell you the T10Y2Y. That's the 10-year minus the 2-year yield spread. And why it matters, because it's the best indicator that exists for recessions. So again, any of these indicators, once you want to, let me close this up, that you want to track, you'll be able to kind of find out what's going on. This will be even more tools on your tool belt to understand when to buy and when to sell. I think a lot of people have an issue of knowing when to get out or when to purchase. So like right now is a good time to start slowly adding to crypto. And then when do you sell off? I usually like to sell my Solana above 220. So I set a stop loss anytime, I get above 220, I set a stop loss in. I just kind of let it ride and go up higher and higher. But in case it pulls back, it sells off at 220 always. And I get to keep all of my gains. And again, I always use these. And again, if you're interested in Forex trading, crypto trading, or even just doing day trading with me, we're starting our day trading live sessions this upcoming week, which is tomorrow. If you're interested, you can join us. That's pretty awesome. Again, always keep an eye on the heat map over here as well and kind of understand what's going on with it. I'll let it load up in a second here, but the DCF calculator as well. You really have to understand what you're buying, why you're buying it. And then the DCF calculator here is going to kind of help you understand, is Meta or Facebook or Nvidia, any of these a good purchase? And you find that out using the discount cash flow calculator. You can check out our courses over here, our store if you're interested in purchasing any kind of our equipment, crypto miners, so on and so forth. And OxPix, if you go to OxPix, you can find out over here, what I've bought, what I've sold, follow that 10K to 100K portfolio. So let's kind of switch back to where we were here a second ago, which was what's going on with Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, and Ripple. So I want you to understand that Bitcoin has printed 5 consecutive red month candles since October 2025. And, we kind of hit that $126,000 all-time high and then just kind of bounce back from that. So let's go to the top 5 assumptions. I really need you to understand the top 5 assumptions by your average investor, why they could be a bad idea, and then what to really do and how to really make money in the stock markets. So number one assumption is that it's cheap relative to all-time highs. Just because Bitcoin is now 50% off and it's cheap relative to all-time highs, it does not mean it's a good buy. And we'll talk about what you should be looking for to say to yourself, okay, now I know it's absolutely a good buy. So again, all-time highs are set during euphorias. And those euphorias does not really mean that that asset that you're looking at is a good buy. The question isn't whether you're below the all-time high, it's whether the all-time high was justified in the very first place. Okay, if it's not justified, then it doesn't really matter what that all-time high was. Number two, you're in a generally novel macro environment and historical macro cycles may not apply to you. Keep in mind, oil did surge over 60% since the beginning of this year. And it was, it was driven by the Hormuz crisis and what's going on in Iran and all those tensions that elevated, between the U.S., Israel, airstrikes. So again, that could be a part of it. And again, did you add this as a major factor? Number three, Ethereum has a fundamental problem, not just a price problem. So again, you have to kind of separate Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, and Ripple into separate categories, evaluate them separately. So let's go over Ethereum really quickly. Again, Ethereum, has a big problem. Let's go through those detailed kind of key points and why you should really kind of take them into account before adding massive amounts to it. So short seller Culper Research disclosed a short position on Ethereum and Ethereum-linked stocks, arguing that Ethereum's Fusaka upgrade weakened its tokenomics by collapsing the fee revenues and enabling spam transactions. So they now allowed for more spam and they cut the fees. So again, maybe Ethereum was justified at $5,000 back then, but now if you're cutting that revenue, is it still justified when you're making less money? And that is very, very important to consider. Okay, Bitmine, a major Ethereum holder, also estimated to be sitting or somewhere around 7.5 billion, yes, billion with a B, in unrealized losses. If the fee revenue narrative is broken, Ethereum's valuation model needs to be rebuilt from the scratch, and you have to reassess what is the real value for Ethereum. It'll be bouncing back because it always does. That is not analysis, my friends. That is never ever true with any investment. Again, let's go into Ripple now, because again, I think I have a lot of questions on Ripple and the Clarity Act and what's going to be happening over the next couple of weeks. So Ripple is a binary bet dressed up as a value play. Let's talk about what that actually means. The Standard Chartered slashed its Ripple price target 65% in February of 2026, which was last month, which is a significant institutional bearish call. They're not bullish. They're not happy. They're actually bearish and unhappy, and they think it's going to go down. Consistent with a 58% drawdown from the highs. So they were actually 100% right if we go back to this February call, and we're now at the end of March. Okay, now Ripple peaked at around 228 in early January of 2026, and then it's been controlled with a consistent sell-off, continuing basically even today, showing repeated lower lows and just continue to sell off. Ripple doesn't have a traditional fundamental kind of. It does not have fundamentals like other cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin. Let's just be straight about this, okay? And remember that, stablecoin and everything else, it did absolutely nothing for it. So let's squash that entire talk and, that scenario that people kind of thought I was going to push it to $5 or $10 or $18. Its price is almost entirely sentiment and a regulatory catalyst dependent. That's not cheap. That's just basically a lottery ticket. Again, nothing. Since the creation of Ripple to today, you can go back all of these years. Remember, Ripple is essentially a bridge between cryptocurrencies that's supposed to tie in everything. It's never done any of that. It's never done anything. Okay, so it may, I could be 100% be wrong because it may happen in a week, in a month, in a year, and I really hope it does for everybody that's holding Ripple out there. But we're just going by straight facts. It's never done anything at all. And I'm going to add another fact. All of the capabilities that Ripple has, I can actually create a coin that has all of them right now. It will take me about 2, maximum 3 days to do it. That is a scary fact that you have to realize. And again, right now, OxRank.com, the next update is going to be, you're going to be able to create your own cryptocurrencies. You're going to be able to create your own liquidity pools for them, and you're going to be able to push them out into the live crypto markets. And again, if you want to create like a clone of the capabilities of Ripple, you absolutely can. So again, it does not hold anything truly special that can't be built, in OxRank in the next week or so. That's something to understand. Let's go into the fear and what's going on. Let's talk about the fear and greed. So fear and greed at 8 to 15 means that historically good entries, or the market sees something you don't. So there's 2 possibilities, right? We're now very close to the bottom and you should be buying crypto, or the market sees some real headwinds coming and we may see even lower lows coming. So let's talk about it. As of mid-March, the fear and greed index set at 15, making the 39th consecutive session in extreme fear territory. Again, usually when you see these many repeated sessions of fear, it is usually a good time to slowly buy a little bit, okay, a tiny amount. Again, historically, extreme fear is a massive buy opportunity. And if we do hit, 79, 78 for Solana, I'm going to be absolutely loading more and more of it. So again, this is good news if you're now trying to slowly establish a crypto portfolio. But sustained extreme fear of 39 plus consecutive sessions is normal fear. Again, it can signal a structural regime change, and the 2018 bear market had prolonged extreme fear too. And Bitcoin still fell from $6,000 to $3,000 after that. So what this kind of tells you is that right now, if we're following what happened, all the way back in 2018, the real bottom would be another 50% down. So it would be somewhere around $32,000 to $34,000 for Bitcoin, and somewhere around $1,100 for Ethereum, somewhere around $45 for Solana, and somewhere around 65 to 70 cents for Ripple. And again, right now, either we're very close to the bottom or the next big leg down is coming where we're going to see the numbers I just talked about. Nobody really knows if this is what's happening, if it's going to happen. So what you want to do is be smart about it, because you cannot predict what's going to happen with Iran or anything else. You want to say to yourself, in case there's another leg down, I want to have half of my money sitting on the sidelines for each of these investments. So again, if you want to invest $1,000 into Ripple, maybe you invest $500 right now, because we're pretty close to that historical 60 to 70% drawdown that we see between these cryptos. And maybe leave the other half of that $1,000, $500, to see what's going to happen over the next couple of weeks. Because if we go down another 50% and then you buy, then you've kind of averaged in between those 2 lows, and you're going to be just fine when it comes to recovering very quickly and breaking even. That is a very solid strategy for anybody that's interested in doing that. Again, make sure you subscribe to the channel, smash the like, comment, leave your comment down below. What do you think is going to happen in the stock and crypto markets? And again, go to OxRank.com and try our tool out for absolutely free. You don't like it, a month later, I will refund you. And right now, we're giving out the full $50 feature set OxRank for $10, which is incredible if you want to test it out. Really, really great tool. And again, if you do lock it in at the $10 a month right now, you will, even though you're getting the $50 one, you will lock in that price forever. So even when we come out with a $99 Pro version for Forex trading, which comes out in a couple of weeks, you can still pay only $10 for the rest of your life and then get the $100 a month features as well, because you're going to be considered a grandfathered member. Again, thank you for watching, and have a good day. If you want to see my next market breakdown, watch this video right here.